All right, guys, Wes here. Welcome back to the channel. And today we've got a big news update for Hogwarts Legacy. As you guys know, this game was one of the best-selling games of 2023. And honestly, with how big of a year it's been, it's kind of crazy to think that Hogwarts Legacy is the one that kicked it all off. This long-awaited game managed to destroy all of the expectations while also becoming hands down the best game set in the Harry Potter universe. A lot of you guys have pretty much given up hope that Hogwarts Legacy would do anything else new this year besides the Switch port, but I'm here to tell you that that might not be the case, as we do have quite a bit of Hogwarts Legacy news to go over regarding the sequel as well as potential DLC. Also, guys, if you would like to win a PS5, I'm giving one away to a lucky subscriber. To enter, all you have to do is subscribe to the channel, comment your Twitter handle, tweet me proof that you're subscribed, and I've got those full details in the pinned comment. Check the video chapters to optimize your viewing experience. Wands at the ready, and let's get into this. So starting things off, we have what could be the first sign of new content headed to Hogwarts Legacy, as we have a new cryptic tweet from Chandler Wood, who, if you didn't know, is the community manager behind Hogwarts Legacy. Well, in a recent tweet announcing that Hogwarts Legacy would be involved in the Back to Hogwarts event, which, if you didn't know, took place on Friday. Well, the tweet was very curious, to say the least. Now, in the post, he said this, and I quote, "We're excited to be a part of Back to Hogwarts again this year. While we're not announcing any new content for Hogwarts Legacy at this event, we're there to celebrate players and fans in a way that I'm particularly proud of. See you Friday." Now, when I first read the tweet, I kind of looked at it and I was like, there's really nothing to read into, but then I took a closer look, and the fact that he said that the event wouldn't be announcing any new content for Hogwarts Legacy at that specific event makes it seem like they were adding new content to Hogwarts Legacy in the future. If there's no plans for a DLC or an expansion, why would he say at this event? Could that have been our first teaser that future content is coming to Hogwarts Legacy? Like I said, I could be reading into things a little too much, which I typically do. It could be that this is just how we formatted the tweet and there was really nothing meant to it, but I'm going to go ahead and put my tinfoil hat on and say that this is our first teaser that there is content to come with Hogwarts Legacy. Next up, I'd like to go over another interesting piece of news that came from Avalanche Software themselves that seemed to imply a major change in the future of the franchise is coming. During a recent interview, Avalanche stated that they're looking forward to using Unreal Engine 5 in future projects, which would be a pretty big upgrade from the first game, which was built on Unreal Engine 4. Given how long the first game was in development, as well as the fact that it was built for 8th generation consoles, and that kind of forced it to stick with Unreal 4, but this seems to be a confirmation that Unreal Engine 5 is going to be the starting ground for the sequel. So not only did they confirm that Unreal 5 would be used for their next game, but they confirmed the existence of that next game, which is pretty cool. That is, if Hogwarts Legacy 2 is indeed their next game. Now, there are a lot of problems with the Unreal Engine, but 5 is a pretty huge step up from 4 in terms of graphical fidelity and performance metrics, so this all bodes well for the future of the franchise. Granted, the internet is pretty sour on Unreal 5 right now, given how many performance problems that have been included with the recent updates of UE5, most notably Immortals of Avium, which ran at 720p on the PS5 and Series X. But the more time that the developers have with the engine, they'll be able to work out those kinks, and I'm sure there's going to be future upgrades of Unreal 5 that will be much better. I am confident that Avalanche can figure out how to avoid these issues with Hogwarts Legacy 2. Remember, this is the same studio that somehow managed to get this huge 2023 open world RPG up and running on the Xbox One and PS4 with no major technical issues, and they're working on a Nintendo Switch port. I have no idea what kind of ancient magic that Avalanche Software is utilizing in their studio, but if anyone can get Unreal 5 running optimally, it's them. This does raise the question of when work on Hogwarts Legacy 2 is actually going to start. The interview made it sound like the team was already getting their footing with Unreal 5, which implies that they're not going to be going full speed ahead on Hogleg 2 just yet, especially since the Switch version still hasn't come out yet, but more on that in a bit. A lot of the Hogleg 2 skeleton is probably going to be a copy and paste from Hogleg 1 or rebuilt from its blueprints. Not that there's really anything wrong with that, but if the new game is going to be built on the new engine, there will probably be some room for improvement and adjustments that will be factored into the development time. So while early work and pre-production is surely underway on Hogwarts Legacy 2, I'm not expecting it to go into full production until after the final version of Hogwarts Legacy 1 is released, and the team will have a little bit more time to figure out all the intricacies of Unreal 5 so they can avoid a launch like Immortals of Avium had. I'm guessing development will go full speed ahead early next year, and then probably conclude 2.5 to 3 years after that, and that's a really generous time frame. But since Avalanche Software really didn't have a deadline with Hogwarts Legacy 2, they had internal deadlines. I'm sure WB Games is totally fine with them working on the game for as long as possible so that they can ensure a quality product releases just like the first game. But the aspect of Hogwarts Legacy that has been the biggest point of conversation recently is the Switch version, because of how little we actually know about it. This is the final version of Hogwarts Legacy scheduled for release, and as of recording this video, it's supposed to hit store shelves on November 14th, just in time for the holidays. But with how quiet Avalanche has been about it, some are worried that it's going to be delayed again, if not indefinitely delayed until the Switch 2 is released, assuming that Avalanche Software has their hands on a Switch 2 dev kit. Avalanche is not a very big studio, so the Switch port has probably taken up most, if not all, of their time, and of course their workforce, and since this is going to be a huge game being ported to such an outdated and weak hardware, it's hard to fathom how they're going to be able to pull it off. I'm not saying it's going going to be impossible to get this game up and running on the Switch, especially after they got it up and running so well on the base Xbox One. But the lack of updates about this version of the game certainly has me a tad worried. At this point, I don't think that WB Games will want to allow them to delay the game again on Switch, simply because it's been so far from the launch, and the fact that they don't want to miss out on the holiday time frame. It probably won't even be worth shipping when you think about the return on investment and the lost development time for the sequel. I hope I'm wrong, and I really do hope that this game gets released on the Switch later this year, but at this point, I wouldn't really be surprised if they pushed it back to December or just flat out indefinitely delayed it. Despite the Switch version being a bit of a mystery, the PC version of Hogwarts Legacy is still going strong, largely thanks to the modding community, who keeps up with new ways to have fun with the playground that Avalanche Software created. Recently, I've been enjoying a mod known as the Goblet Overhaul that I think deserves a lot more attention. It currently has less than 5,000 unique downloads on Nexus Mods, but I definitely recommend giving it a try. The Goblet Overhaul does a ton of things to make the PC version more immersive and balanced. It adds a bunch of overhaul difficulty settings, and each one changes details in the leveling, changes the XP, inventories, magic, potions, and so on and so forth. It makes the game flow a lot better and encourages a ton of playthroughs with various new difficulty settings and balancing changes. Think of this as like the unofficial New Game Plus. Now, on top of the Goblet Overhaul, another mod that I've been getting a kick out of is the Elder Wand mod, which has been downloaded almost 30,000 times from Nexus Mods and is a must play for any fan of the Harry Potter universe. The mod description simply reads the Elder Wand, and that's really all you need to know. It's an awesome little change for the fans of the universe who would like to role play in a little bit more detail with their next playthrough. I know a lot of non-PC players have been waiting on some kind of new content to be added to Hogwarts Legacy in the form of DLC, which if we take that cryptic tweet from Chandler Wood, it sounds like that might be happening. This has been a topic that I've been covering on this channel quite a bit for some time, but without any real success from Avalanche Software or Warner Brothers Games, and it kind of blows my mind that we haven't gotten any sort of announcements. Despite this game dramatically overperforming, there hasn't been any talks of new DLC or content, except the possible teaser that we got from Chandler Wood. There aren't any DLC announcements to speak of, and I think most of the members of the community have given up on Hogwarts Legacy because they've exhausted all that they can do on the game. With the possible revelation today, I do think that there's still a chance that something could get announced at the end of the year, possibly at the rumored PlayStation Showcase or maybe even at the Game Awards, but the general vibe that I'm getting from the developers is that they're going to be moving on to other things. Their eagerness to move to Unreal 5 kind of gives away that they're not really focused on the current game besides the Switch port, which honestly I totally understand. Moving from one engine to another is a pretty tough task, and a lot of major game studios have been really struggling at it. There obviously weren't any plans for paid DLC earlier this year, and with the move to Unreal 5 underway at Avalanche, I doubt that the team is going to want to move backwards anytime soon. As much as I would love more story content, I just don't see it happening, and unless something is announced by the end of the year, I definitely think it's time to just move on and stop waiting for it. Just because there isn't DLC coming doesn't mean there aren't a lot of people still playing this game though. Hogwarts Legacy sold over 15 million copies as of August 2023. There are still a ton of people running around the halls of Hogwarts. According to Steam charts, the game averages over 7,500 players at any given time, which is super impressive for a single player game. And whenever there are major sales on the PC and console digital marketplaces, Hogwarts Legacy jumps pretty high in the charts. This game is definitely going to be an ongoing success, and that's something for the team to be very proud of. When it comes to Game of the Year discussions, some have argued that Hogwarts Legacy is going to be a serious contender, and as much as I love the game, I'm not sure I totally agree. That's not to say that it wasn't a great 2023 game, but this year is just totally stacked. If Hogwarts Legacy wants to win Game of the Year, it has to go up against Starfield, Zelda, Baldur's Gate 3, Spider-Man 2, and the list goes on, which is going to be a very tall order. I certainly think it will be nominated for a lot of awards, but at the end of the year, it may get nominated for Game of the Year, but I just don't see it taking home the big prize with how stiff the competition is. However, if Hogwarts Legacy 2 manages to build upon the first game's foundation and maybe come out in a less stacked year, that could be a serious Game of the Year contender. But what do you guys think? Are you still playing Hogwarts Legacy? Do you think that the game has a shot at Game of the Year? And do you think that this tweet from Chandler Wood is a teaser that future content is coming? Let me know down below in the comments. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel with your notifications turned on so you don't miss out on any future update videos. Don't forget to enter the PS5 giveaway. The winner will be announced at 130K. The details are in the pinned comment. And until next time, this has been Wes, and I'll talk to you guys again soon.